Everything you know about money is only half the story. You've heard something about wealth. You've been taught markets. You've been shown the shiny surface. But no one showed you what lies beneath. Today, we are not talking about money as currency. Today, we are talking about money as a weapon. Because long before the first coin was minted, long before the first paper note was printed, someone discovered something far more dangerous than gold, silver, or stone. If you control what people believe is valuable, you can control people themselves. I am Nathan Vale. And tonight, we are not just lifting the veil on money. Tonight, we are pulling back the curtain on the oldest power game ever played. A game that began in blood, perfected in law, and is right now, at this very second, continuing on the device you hold in your hands. The dark origins of power and property. This is the veil of money. Let's go back. Not just to the first coins. Not just to the first temples. Back to the very moment a human pointed to a piece of land and said the words that changed everything. Mine. Yours. Before property, there was no poverty. Not because everyone owned everything, but because the concept of not owning did not exist yet. The earliest human communities shared resources as rivers shared water with land, not out of virtue, but out of necessity. Pure, instinctive, survival effort. Then something happened. Around 3000 BCE, in the city of Uruk, a city advanced enough to overshadow many modern towns, the priests of the Inanna temple did something no human had officially done before. They began to record who owned what. They didn't just store grain. They recorded ownership of the grain. They didn't just count animals. They recorded rights over the animals. This was not accounting. This was the birth of power, encoded in writing. The temple served not just the gods. The temple was the first bank, the first court, the first government. And those silent men in linen robes, the priests, were the first holders of power. Not with swords, but with records. Fast forward 2,000 years. Rome did not invent property, but it perfected, turning it into a weapon. The Romans gave us a word that still governs your life today. A word powerful enough to become the foundation of Western civilization. Dominium. Dominium. From dominus, master, lord. It didn't just mean, I own this thing. It meant, I have absolute, unconditional, legally protected control over this thing. And most importantly, the state will use force to defend my claim. For the first time in human history, property was not a social consensus. It was a legally enforced weapon, backed by the sword of the state. And here's the question that should haunt us all. Who decided that the land belonged to the landlord, and not the man working it before dawn? Not nature. Not God. Not justice. A document stamped by power, enforced by soldiers. The dark origin of property is not a story of earning. It is a story of claiming, and then legitimizing that claim. Now, ask yourself a more dangerous question. Why did we accept it? Not just the Romans, not just the Sumerians. Why do we, today, accept a system of property and power, designed not for us, but over us? The answer doesn't live in history books. It lives in the oldest, darkest chamber of human psychology. Carl Jung spoke of a concept called the shadow, that hidden part of ourselves we refuse to see. Desires we bury, fears we deny. Property is the visible form of humanity's collective shadow. Why does a man with $1 billion chase the second billion? Not hunger, not logic, not even simple greed. It is the oldest terror in the human nervous system, the horror of returning to nothingness. Every wall built around a property boundary is also a wall against mortality. Every deed whispers a prayer. I was here. This was mine. I cannot be erased. But this is where the architecture of power becomes brilliant. Ruling classes, in every civilization, in every age, understood something the masses did not. If you convince people that the system is natural, they will defend it more fiercely than those who designed it. This is called manufactured consent. But the practice is 5,000 years old. When a Sumerian priest demanded 10% of a farmer's harvest, the farmer did not revolt. He obeyed. Because the priest had done something brilliant. He wrapped power in the sacred. Property made divine. So what is our modern equivalent of the priest holding the grain? The central bank. A credit score. A trust contract. The end-user license agreement. You clicked accept on 17 minutes ago, without reading. Modern power does not need rogue priests. It needs unread terms and conditions. Complexity deep enough to make questioning the system more exhausting than obeying it. And all of it packaged in one beautiful, ancient word: property. Today, we stand at the most fascinating and most dangerous point in 5,000 years of property history. Because for the first time, what is owned is invisible. In 2009, an anonymous figure known only as Satoshi Nakamoto published a document that shook the very foundations of everything we've discussed tonight. Not because he created a new currency, but because he asked the most destructive question in the history of money: what if property does not require a master? Blockchain, no matter what you believe about its future, is philosophically revolutionary. It attempts to replace the Sumerian priest, the Roman judge, and the central bank with mathematics. And the powerful did not ignore it. They did not laugh. They studied it. And then, they began to build their own versions. Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, are now being developed by over 100 governments worldwide. I'm not here to tell you if this is good or bad. That is not my task. But let me tell you historically what it is. It is the most ambitious extension of state control over economic life, dominium, since the first coin bore the face of the Roman emperor. The face on the coin has changed. The emperor now wears an algorithm. But the question beneath the coin has always been the same. Whoever controls the record controls reality. The Sumerian farmer's land was recorded in clay. The Roman aristocrat's property was carved in marble. Your savings, debts, economic identity, recorded on servers in buildings you've never seen, in countries you've never visited. The material changes. The structure of power does not. In the next chapter, we go even deeper. Into the history of debt, into the invisible chain forged not from iron, but from a signature. From a word. From a whispered yes, in a moment of desperation. Until then, don't just look at what you own. Look at why you believe you own it. And ask yourself, who told you that? I am Nathan Vale. The truth is always behind the veil. And it waits for you to see it.